Greetings everyone, please give a moment to make sure everything's set on up. The rumble starting on up, YouTube should be going on up. YouTube is going on up, Kick is going on up. Twitter is up, and Twitch is up as well. Looks like everything's booted on up. Give me another moment to see activate chat windows. That's good. All that's booting on up. That's good. And yep, I think everything is good to go. Give me another moment to check my other computer. And looks like everything's good to go. So let's go ahead and get started. Greetings everyone, and Grade here for another Advance Wars by Web replay. So on the bottom side is the Yellow Comet Lash. We've got Laurencia. Some odd reason I had trouble reading splitting up that name. 1997. Spawn on the north side is the Black Hole Adder. We've got Tesla 246. Either way, let's go and get started. Lash is, of course, the terrain specialist. All of her units get plus 10% firepower based on what terrain star they are on. Adder, of course, is the mobility seal, but has no day-to-day, so inherently day-to-day, Lash does have some advantage. Of course, Adder's power and superpower are very spammable, and additionally, when it comes to power, they're both mobility seals. Lash, of course, ignores the terrain penalties on all tiles, assuming it's still traversable, which is quite nice. But this map doesn't have too many forests to really make use of that. Not like most anybody really pop out terrain tactics. Most times just save up prime tactics. Bit of firepower there. Bit of damage there, to say the least. Adder, of course, does get +1 movement and +2 movement. They would probably see the +1 movement more often. Not only give them global test +10/+10, but +1 movement really does help out. This map is a little smaller side. Both players do have an airport and 2 or 3 bases here, so there's a 3-base map, 1 airport. Of course, the initial phase, but we do have both players pull out 2 tanks on this side. And of course, both players do have access to a comm tower. Interrupts the capture there. Got a 3rd tank and more infantry. There's our capture even further. Lash does have 12,000 right now. Adder has 10,000. So Lash does have a decent advantage there. She pushed forward this tank knowing that if he were to retaliate, which he will be retaliated upon. Of course, and this tank can retaliate. It's going to be a chain of tanks, but Lash is lacking additional tank there, so Adder will win the retaliations. We also have another tank over here as well. Tank advancing along the left. Of course, got a tank here, and Lash just pull back the tank there. If possible, put on top of the city, get a little bit extra healing. 3 health's not a lot. 5 health feels like it's a minimum effective health. Anything less is just basic becomes a meat shield. Adder's rotating some tanks around. Does now have 3 tanks in the region. There's a decent number of shores here behind Lash's face. So this area is so perfectly traversable. Effectively, shores in this situation are no different than bridges, but do now have a Lash battlecopter advancing forward and more tanks now being established. You have an ATR here, of course, to counter out the battlecopter. Decent amount of rivers here. Not really. There's a lot of rivers coming out of the base, but in the middle of the map, it's pretty much 100% traversable. We've got a mountain here, a river here, and a mountain here. So the ATR will have good mobility. The Battlecopter will have trouble. Well, can't really use terrain to its advantage. Got more interrupts there. Lashes 15,000 versus Adder's 14. Some damage there. Does pick it off. Seemed like a high luck roll. No bonus damage from terrain stars. Now we do have a lot of tanks. 2 more tanks in this region plus Battlecopter. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And what's left of that one? Just one tank over here. Just provide some defense. And if Adder were to push forward and engage this tank here, there's tanks nearby to retaliate upon. So some of these outlying infantry units there. Battlecopter is on top, not Battlecopter, Chick is on top of HQ. If Adder can squeeze out a little bit of power to get that side slip, then he's able to put a bit more pressure, but he now has his own Battlecopter. Lash now has no AT on the field, has to rely on this Battlecopter to engage the Battlecopter, which is just out of range. Getting some damage, rotating some tanks over here. Infantry, Battlecopter, and infantry. Some properties now. Some properties still despicably neutral. Let's get some good kills there. Yeah, right now just day-to-day differences when it comes to funds. Ends a turn of 80,000, starts a turn of 77, so the differences are minor at the moment. Of course, Lash does have a starting turn advantage. Infantry. Good shot there on the 8th year. Putting some holes into the 8th year like that means a bit more breathing room for the Battlecopter. Now she has 2. Of course, she can't second charge for the Battlecopter because the other Battlecopter retaliate, and we do have now a side slip available. This is where Adder can probably make some work, getting +10 global, and a little extra versement. Pretty much all the infantry is in range of each other, regardless of side slip or not. So that could help out. Does get the property there. Still behind by 1,000 income. Has a mech deployed field. Need here does fall back onto the HQ. Artillery. Tank. Does a general retreat there. Lash could try pushing forward. Don't push too far forward. Gets a pick there. Battlecopter takes up that unit. Battlecopter's range of Battlecopter, so that must be a bait Battlecopter because no, she has a support Battlecopter. 8th year. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So needs a superpower to range this Battlecopter. Though, now that Battlecopter is in range of the 8th year. And barring the fact that there's not infantry on top of the property. She's making a pretty good push. A nice little fortress of infantry here. Or she does have some wooden tanks. Maybe it's a good idea to merge, and that's a Neo tank. So she's going to try to make power play, make her move. And thing as well, she has no anti-air. Adder, nowhere near enough income. I was going to say Adder could try spinning out for a bomber to retaliate against the Neo tank, but he has not been saving up his money, while Lash has. My apologies. Any push in the center. Sorry, my drink went down the wrong pipe. There's a strike there. Almost a superpower. Lash does have a terrain tactics. At this point in time, it's only be really useful for infantry sprinting across the rivers. Just trying to sacks that one there. Pops the terrain tactics. I was wondering, is there a possibility of a terrain tactics being useful? And more I thought about, the less useful I thought, but she's going to try to close the game now. She's trying to get the plus 10 power boost and finish the game before Adder pulls out of power or superpower. At this one time, his power would be better because he does not need a plus 2 movement range, but he could have 2 turns of power at the current rate. He will likely have 2 turns of power. But this will be useful for the infantry and perhaps traverse the forest. Yep, went down the wrong pipe. Decides to go for the infantry, not for the tank there. Try and put a tank into the anti-air. Does. This tank will be able to traverse completely up there. Unrelated to terrain tactics. Pays the battlecopter. Neo tank closing distance. Much of its threats of Neo tank are not existent. He does not have enough income to bring out a bomber next turn either. Just trying to close the game before Adder can get any more power charge. Tank, anti-air, infantry. Lash ends turn 105 on the field. Adder starts to turn 63, so he does not have much on the field, but he doesn't traverse far. I want to see regular power, not superpower. I don't see any place where superpower would be worth it. Does pop the side slip, very good. Let's see what he does. That was a tank. I thought that was a wooden tank, right? I could have sworn he was going to use the artillery piece for that. He doesn't have to need to take out all the infantry. He needs to primarily take out all the supporting tanks. I think the tank should be his primary target. Artillery takes out that wooden tank. Tank on tank. Of course, he doesn't really have much threat in these tanks here. These rivers, as I mentioned beforehand, weren't going to be too particularly useful, but they are being useful to Lash now. Taking out some outlying infantry units. Does minute battlecopter and battlecopter. Battlecopter, mech, infantry. Mechs are probably decent at this point in time since you can make a power to make them decently mobile. Plus a lot of amount of rivers there. And they have perfect traversal over rivers. So this Neo tank is a massive threat, and Lash can probably knock out the artillery piece with a tank. Adder did not save any monies up for bomber either, or anything to counter this Neo tank. The medium tank can be useful for that. Does some good outlying damage there. Leave the artillery piece alone, probably pull back the tank and hit the full health tank against the 7 health tank. Then try to finish off with the artillery or the battlecopter. Tank, anti-air, infantry. Decides not to do what I thought he should do. Pulls back the 5 health tank. Did do that. And now the 3 health artillery can strike Neo tank, Paul doing at most 1 damage, but may not even be that. And here comes a side slip. Paul should have done that before attacking there, get the plus 10. Does get excuse me, 1 damage there. Getting some good headways there, picking off some of those units. Mech gets a strike there, thanks to plus 1 movement, very nice. Battlecopter takes a Neo tank. Neo tank is being whittled down and not trapped there. We do have another terrain tactics. It may be a good idea to go for another terrain tactics just with the plus 10 go in. This game, it feels pretty strong for Lash, but their value right now is pretty even, 65 versus 63. So they're back down to day-to-day difference. Neo tank still pose a pretty big threat. And this anti-hero will be out of range. Can take out 1 of the battlecopters, not necessarily both. Does get some good strikes there. Neo tank strikes the mech. Good pick there. And this wave of infantry is going to be hard for this tank to push forward, particularly the 1 health infantry unit. The mech probably needs to fall back, take out the 1 health machine, and put the tank to hit the 6 health. Also means the tank is going to be exposed to another tank. Maybe this mech can strike this infantry unit. Assuming he gets to take out 1 shot, and the 2 health tank can probably strike it, but then it also means this tank will have to go drop the force, I guess. In other words, I feel like Lash has a pretty good grasp in the game. But Adder's making some decent headway on this flank. What's more damage to that Neo tank? Even take a shot there. Finish off the Neo tank, giving a prime tactics. Mech take a good shot against the tank. That's probably a good, better target than what I was thinking. And Adder does resign there. This hand grade saying, "Thank you for watching," and on to the next replay. Decent replay to start out the game with. That's what start the stream with. Get mode to get my other low volume drink there. And here we go. Next replay. Big map. Why is the Tesla box italicized? Was it italicized? Not sure. Let's see. Unshrink this. And that should be good. Wait, nope. And yeah, I think that's good. So let's go to get started. My apologies. Oops. Greetings everyone, and right here for another Advanced Wars by Web replay. Well, on the north side is the, what's this one? Teal Galaxy? No, Azure Asteroid. I always get those mixed up. We have as the Azure Asteroid Cole, we got Salk. Spawn on the south side is the Blue Moon Lash. We got Doomsday 31415, which is a handful of the pi digit because it's 3.141592. That's all we know about the pi digits. Either way, let's get started. Lash, of course, is the terrain specialist. Put some machine gun round into that pipe scene there. Every single one of our units get plus 10 firepower based on per defense star, which is nice. Cole gets plus 10 firepower when attacking from roads, including air units. Cole is a variant of, as a mobility CO, usually called, sorry, it's scam called. Is a variant of a mobility CO like Adder. Sorry, get my microphone now. Everything's going not right. Both players go from APC. But of course, it is 3 stars and 2 stars. I think people generally prefer Adder, though Cole does have a day-to-day, to say the least. Lash does have a mobility power as well, which is effectively at most +1, maybe occasionally +2 movement, for a cost of 4 stars, which makes it completely horrible. Yeah, this power could also be shrunk down to 2 stars and would probably be perfectly balanced. Can't say what the superpower then afterwards should cost. It's not too particularly powerful, because let's just say it's common terrain's plain, so plus 10% firepower? It could be... yeah, Lash's power and superpower are just a little bit overpriced. Does delete the cruiser. There is just a 1 health cruiser. decent amount of boosting there. This map is a 3-base map with an airport. Both players can make good use of battle copters. They have no limitations. Cole can, of course, get plus 10% firepower on the battle copters in situational, well, situations. Got now a tank artillery, of course a recon, and another tank there. Lash push for a tank over here. Gone for recon and tank last turn. Sorry, I'm a little bit out of it today. Everything's just not going right. I'm stumbling over my words, spam call, then hitting my microphone. But either way, we've got tank infantry. Push our way forward, catch some properties. Another, the recon and the artillery piece, of course, still moving forward. Tank moving forward. This is effectively the weak side and strong side, since there's 2 bases going this side and 1 base going this side, though arrogance can go either direction. Tank heading down south, and he does have both of these properties now scouted, so he can see when to push forward. Flash. Oh, nice little APC block there. This tank will simply keep by, maybe a little bit hidden. So in case of the tank strikes there, he can pull the infantry off left to right, and then this tank get on top of properties and retaliate. Won't be strong as what's called Kindles, but 30% is almost as good as 40%. Good strike there on the recon. Bit of damage there. Does put that infantry unit there. Capture some properties. And there's retaliation I predicted. And even try to put some machine gun rounds with the recon. Doesn't get the kill. A little bit ambitious. Do have another tank lurking in the woods here. Of course, Lash does have another tank here, so if this tank falls back, this tank can engage the tank, then this tank can simply just do the exact same thing. Tank anti-air infantry. Battlecopter recon infantry tank. Takes off that unit there. This tank is here. Took out the recon, but now we'll get double tapped by these tanks here. One in the rear, one from the front. And now this infantry unit can start capturing up that property. Overall, it feels like Lash takes some pretty good engagements. Cole almost has enough for a superpower right now. Seeing Lash is almost at 4 stars, well, Cole's beyond 4 stars, so Lash definitely has gotten more damage done. Lash ends turn for 100,000, Cole starts turn for 78. He's starting to fall behind, does for 24,000, could go for a Neo take this turn, or Bomber. Or definitely not the and part. Gotta pop this way forward. Good damage there. Neo tank push way forward. Recon battlecopter. Tank recon. Handful units heading down center. Trying to flip a property there. Right now we've got 25 versus 24. There's one despicable neutral property left in the field, and that's this top left city there. Overall, Cole does have quite a bit of force here. Artillery piece not in range. It is on top of a missile silo platform. Tank, battlecopter, tank, and infantry. And something I noticed as well. I'm going to adjust the stream a little bit. There we go. Now you can see the both health bars a little bit better. Good shot there. Interrupts the capture. Strikes the artillery piece. Cole now has access to power. Of course, can give him a decent amount of extra firepower from Rhodes, which is always actually a little bit more situational. It's actually somewhat difficult to utilize it. He leads the cruiser, puts infantry on top of the missile silo. Geo tank straightforward up north. Right now, Cole just has a good number of battlecopters. Got a battlecopter, tank, anti-air infantry. Would it go for power or superpower? Maybe let's go for power. Let's see. Does put the power there. Gain +1 movement range global, and then plus additional 10% firepower from attacking from Rhodes, which I can see one possible good shot there. I think it's a good strike there, and then the follow-up strike there. Easy knockout. Gets a nice strike there. We'll try to machine gun it down. Does machine gun it down. Good damage there. Starting to flip some properties. Does get a good strike there onto the artillery piece, but thanks to 4 defense stars, did take a bit of a beating. So its life shall suffer for a little bit longer. And we're likely we'll see a prime tactics next turn. Getting Lash double defense stars. You now have a medium tank infantry and artillery. She just needs additional 600 funds to get her prime tactics, just a little bit more. And here comes the prime tactics. And this artillery piece should be supercharged, even though it's at 7 health. All I could have did that boost strike on that unit there. His strike there. Strikes the infantry unit. Another Neo T4 in the field. So I'll put some properties there. Infantry. Get some damage on that infantry unit there. The extra defense star is being useful. Tank, so triple tank. Lash ends turn for 143, and or Cole ends the turn for 155. So Lash starts turn 143, so she's starting to fall a little bit behind, but still turn difference. Gets a lot of good strikes there, cleaning up the northern flank quite severely. Trying to flip some properties now. The Lash does have 2,000 income at the moment. Artillery, battlecopter, tank, infantry. Cole can pop another power, but probably should just save up until he can utilize a boost strike from a lot of Rhodes, which is something I don't see. Neotank Infantry base skill. Lash does have now 2 Neotanks afield. Now Cole has 1. And it's going to be a bit of time before I can get pushed forward and get a shot off on in. Neotank strikes at 1 hell of infantry unit. Not the greatest targets, but is certainly a target. Gets a boost strike down the recon. And now the battlecruiser will strike the artillery piece. Of course, can activate a Force March next turn. Trail of Woe is still a possibility. Tank on tank. Good strike there. I think he's trying to go for a Trail of Woe. Does do a full Trail of Woe. There's still an argument made to strike a power charge before popping power either way. But now we've got the full superpower, which means +2 movement range. Let's see what he does with that. There could be some good battle copter plays by striking the battle from roads. Let's figure out. Easy one-shot the entry unit there. Booster strike takes out the battle copter. His tank could also be knocked out as well. No boost strike there. Ooh, that wasn't as good as I thought it would be. Let's take a quick look at that. Sorry about that. That seems just a little bit low. Was it a bad luck roll? It was a bad luck roll. It was over 50% chance it would be 3 damage, but in this case, he rolled 2. Medium tank knocks out the recon. That's a great strike there. 4 health artillery piece could have softened something up, but looks like it's not needed. First strike on there. Gets another shrink run there. Gets trapped. Meteor artillery, T-copter infantry. Pop terrain tactics. Terrain tactics can have some utility. It's overpriced for what it does, but there's a decent amount of force on the field. Rivers are not going to make a play, but the force, able to perfect traverse force can be nice. There's a handful in the field. None utilized there. One was utilized there. Oh yeah, recons will be able to sprint across the land, not being slowed down by the planes. They're able to floor it, no problem. Neotank has a boost strike there on the medium tank. Meteor takes out the battlecopter. Of course, she does get +10/+10 global, which is quite nice. So it strikes that unit there. Neotank infantry. Her 1 Neotank here is on top of a property, so we'll be able to get some healing next turn. Does not machine gun that APC down. Could see interrupt here. Yeah, if you really want to make use of terrain tactics, you probably need to have a whole bunch of recons in the field. If you have too many recons in the field, that's not a good composition. Trying to soften up some of these tanks in this counterattack. Medium tank does fall back to get some repairs. Takes the battle copter, very nice. Lash has this Neo tank in range of his opponent's Neo tank, though this one's not in vision range at the moment. Cole ends turn 155,000 in the field. Lash starts turn 135, so this game can still go either way, but Lash is starting to fall a little behind. He drops the capture there. He drops, well, it's a good shot there. Neo tank strikes out that tank there. Meteor takes out that one. Battlecopter gets a good strike there. A lot of these outlying units being picked on off. And another Trail of Woe is available. And this is a lot of good engagement there by Lash. She just cleaned up this region. Tank Battlecopter ends for 155,000, and now Cole's at 115. A pretty sizable loss there. This Neo Tank could receive a boost strike from this Neo Tank, so maybe a good idea to go for the full superpower. Can't say exactly sure. At least the power. Let's find out. Let's find out. Let's find out. Get strapped. It may not be a superpower this turn. Yep, no superpower this turn. Just a general pullback. He knows there's two Neo Tanks in the center there. Goes for a bomber, very nice. Of course, Cole has not seen the third Neo Tank. It's a good thing he did actually pull back overall. Recon tank anti-air. Cole still has a APC over there that's basically just stuck. Lash could just leave that 2 health tank there, just be a permanent trap on that APC, but not like it's going to be any pop cap this game. Bomber pushes way forward. Science just doing general withdrawal. Try and wait for a better opportunity. Get some reinforcements instead of charge forward. He has superpower. He can really charge forward. National just has enough for another prime tactics or terrain tactics. Flash is behind by 2,000 income. Pathetic damage there on the APC. And somehow this tank managed to get low in fuel. The Battlecopter's getting pretty low in fuel as well. His APC did go down, that was down there. Tank artillery gets trapped again. He's doing a really good job of reconnaissing his opponent. Has done a great job of finding them. One health tank did not take a shot against that infantry unit there. It is using as a wall to save this infantry unit there to flip the property. Very nice. Enemy needs to get out some recons in this area, I would say. Neo Tank infantry recon. There's a amount of heavy assets, he needs more recons just for spotting. Plus, they're always so quite nice to hit infantry units. Pops the terrain tactics again. That's interesting. Let's see how well this goes. Has perfect movement this turn, +10 as well. Interrupts those the capture, takes out the 1 health tank there. Neo Tank strikes Neo Tank, getting a good shot there. We'll follow up with a regular tank shot as well. Tank, Battlecopter, Recon, and Infantry. And here comes the Trail of Woe. I can see a booster strike from the bomber from this road to nuke a Neo Tank. That's the best media thing I see. Let's see what he does. Anti-air sacks itself. Battlecopter does not. Oh yeah, this is the one thing I think Cole should get a buff on. His day-to-day and all his abilities should be roads and bridges. It's really stupid he doesn't get booster strikes from bridges. That's one balance change I think should be implemented. There's the booster strike from the bomber. Nukes the Neo Tank one shot. Let's take a look at the damage calculator for that. 108%, so that was an easy kill. Nice safe kill. No RNG needed. It's a nice strike on the Neo Tank. Now the Neo Tank can follow up and hit it. Good damage there. Takes out the Neo Tank. Tank gets a good strike there. Yeah, I think this is more of an oversight if I were to hazard a guess. I know they try not to do many balance changes for these COs, but that's Cole's the bottom of barrel, and that's just something that should just make it like it should. I would classify that as a more close to a bug rather than balance change, a bug that needs to be addressed because it's probably just an oversight that should have been addressed. And oversights are bugs rather than balance changes. Because I don't see any world why they would make a CO to get bonus damage from roads and also get another road thing not buffed. Shores should remain unbuffed because shores are related to naval combat with traversement. It's just more of a different thing. They're not hardcore purists. They have done some changes here and there, as well as also balance up from which cartridge as well, since Cole is a dual strike CO. Some COs do draw elements from the dual strike, some draw elements from Advanced Wars 2, some draws elements from Advanced Wars 1. So some COs have received buffs where they get some dual strike bonuses, while the COs do not. Sort of like how Olaf in Dual Strike has additional firepower during snow, which he does not have in By Web. Sonya actually had a decent buff in Dual Strike. Is something that probably should be implemented as well, where she can ignore partial or total terrain stars. Because right now Sonya is probably the worst CO in the game, primarily due to the fact that she gets bad luck. And that's a core mechanic of her. She's just unlucky. Does pull back. Medium tank, recon, infantry. And Cole ends turn 175, Lash return 173, so they're pretty even. Of course, Lash does have player one advantage. Also, the changes like that could happen now, as there have been. Has it been a change of leadership of Advanced Wars by Web? I'm not sure. Because I don't really pay attention to Advanced Wars by Web too significantly. I'm definitely an outsider when it comes to this sort of thing. I only just give my opinion on because balance changes. I understand the logic of not every CO has to be super great, because after all, then all the top tier COs need heavy nerfs, and most players just don't want to see them nerfed. That's why there's different tiers when it comes to a lot of COs and all that sort. They all don't have to be completely viable with every CO, this sort of philosophy, and I understand that. There's some things where it's like just, yeah, these COs, the bottom tier COs could be looked at, but there's nothing much you can do about Flak or Jugger. For example, I don't know about the leadership changes. I have no idea. Oh, got a Mega Tank deployed on the field. Like for example, I don't want to see Flak or Jugger change any bit because they are RNG COs. There's no way to make RNG COs consistent. They're RNG for a reason. Yep, so far it is a pretty close game, but Lash is, I feel like, some pro ahead. She's done a good job attacking, but of course we still got this bomber on the field. Lash does not counter out the bomber, has some anti-airs, it's more of a soft counter rather than hard counter. Situational can get a hit. Luckily with Fog of War, anti-airs can engage the bomber. And Cole has been doing a great job of fighting Lash's Neo Tanks. Still mad about 70% area of Drake. I can understand that. There's a reason why Greyfield has bonuses to seaplanes and battlecopters, because battlecopters are meant to also go in cruisers. It's one of those things where I think Days of Ruin does a lot of things better, primarily everything Navy. Navy is just a lost cause, and Advance Wars by Web, they will have to seriously... If there's going to be any balance changes, it would probably be Navy entirely. Because Navy is just not good in every Advance Wars game, barring Days of Ruin. But those are drastic changes. Oh. Okay, I can still hit next turn. Give me a moment. Let's see, did my stream drop? No. Give me a moment. I'm gonna try to clear out that air. Looks like it's just gonna stick around. Oh, there it goes. That may be Advance Wars by Web bugging out. I'm not sure. Sorry about that. Let's see, I don't know enough about Days of Ruin. I just don't like how COs are used. Yeah, COs are different in Days of Ruin. I can understand why people like and dislike that. Definitely interesting, but yeah, Navy's just far, far better. I love the change to the battleship in Days of Ruin. It is the king of the seas. It actually is a monster. They have the move and shoot. It actually got 1 less range, if I remember correctly, but they built the move and shoot 5 range. It actually becomes a threat. Also, they made Days of Ruin did also make a lot of units cheaper, and they made the tiers, the value of the effectiveness per tier is a little bit more comparable. Hence why regular tanks can actually reasonably gauge medium tanks. There's good hits there. Does drive into the range of the artillery piece. No real chance of a force smart. Probably this turn. Good strike there. Couple of boosts and bigger boost. Some good strikes there. Bomber moving around, trying to find another open gauge. Of course, does have this E-tier scouted. Neo-tank lurking in the woods. We got, of course, 2 Neo-tanks up here. Tank. Cole ends turn of 114 versus 201, so Cole has a slight advantage, but just only slight. Yeah, with this much value in the field, anything can go either way. And that medium tank gets... Oh, that's a pretty good pick there by Lash, able to get a double tap on a medium tank like that. With a pair of artillery pieces. Making an advance. This Neo tank is currently not spotted. Get some good hits there. Takes out the outlying recons. Taking out recons are quite nice, though tanks still have decent spotting. Many good hits there. Trail of Woe is now available. Artillery piece. Did she just hold weighted rather than firing? I could have sworn she just did a wait action there, unless I'm mistaken. Got now a medium or Neo tank infantry. So Lash is pumping out the heavy assets. Don't know if he's seen the mega tank, but here comes Trail of Woe. Let's see. Trying to see what units are along the roads. Got a Neo tank along the road. Got some regular tank there. Some assets, a good number of stuff here along the road, so maybe some good work can be done. Mance picked off the recon. Gain some good boosted strikes there. Battlecopter strikes the regular tank there. Basic attack there. Anti-air charges way forward, takes on the battlecopter. T-copter pushes down south, spots the mega tank, or maybe the anti-air did. Artillery gets a good strike down Neo Tank and softens up a little bit for this Neo Tank to take it out. Do now a prime tactic. Anti-air managed to knock out the tank. It's always a little bit iffy, I would say, of that, but was successful. Neo Tank strikes the anti-air. Bomber managed to get a strike on the mega tank. Serious damage onto it. Mega tanks still offer immense firepower, and probably a boosted strike from the city could still knock out the Neo Tank. But here comes Lash. Here comes the Prime Tactics. Recon managed to get a sneaky shot there. Neo Tank on the Neo Tank. Great shot there. I thought the Curiosity. What would this look like? Actually, yeah, like I said, probably could have done this. And what is this Mega Tank going to do now? This turn, that because this Neo Tank could have gone somewhere else. And again, it would have traveled quite a bit up north, so maybe not. Managed to take out the T-copter, so now the Mega Tank can strike something over here. Knocks on the anti-air. Okay, so that was a good call. Anti-air takes the battlecopter out. Try and flip the property. Battlecopter straight forward. Not much spotting down here. Neo Tank's gonna be a hard counter everything over here. Wolf has pretty much nothing over here. A handful of infantry and artillery, and a 3 health tank. So Cole needs to reinforce the area, maybe with a Neo Tank, maybe a Mega Tank to reinforce the area. Mega Tank's always a bit of a tall order. Lash ends turn for 176, so an excellent counterattack by her. Cole starts turn 112. I thought Cole had a really good Trail of Woe, but not good enough, maybe? Trucks capture there. 9 health Neo Tank falls back. Bomber falls back. Looks like he can't deal with the anti-air. And looks like Cole's in full retreat. Just doesn't have enough units on the field. Nothing to strike this anti-air. Taking out the anti-air could allow the bomber to take out the Mega Tank or the Neo Tank. Neo Tank could probably follow up and hit the Mega Tank after the bomber hits it. Another Neo Tank APC in infantry. The bomber's at 23 fuel, that's probably why he went for an APC. Looks like Lash is not pushing aggressively, just getting some small picks, which are always good. Small picks are always quite useful. After all, like in chess, taking out a pawn, an infantry unit, a free infantry unit, and a free pawn are effectively the same thing. Got a fighter deployed in the field, and a pair of infantry and a recon. The fighter's meant to hunt down the bomber. Bomber's at 18 fuel. If it just runs back over here, it can probably get the APC. 18 fuel can easily evaporate very quickly, and pushing the bomber back would allow him to refuel and then push for the bomber, because right now the bomber can't really charge forward unless it can get refueled, because the APC only can move so quickly. There we go, he did pull back the bomber a little bit. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, so I think it's in range. Battlecopter and artillery infantry tank. Good shot there. So that tank. Maybe some good picks over here. Mega tank creeping forward, city hopping, very nice. So next turn it will be at full health. Expensive repairs, but it will keep the momentum up. Fighter advancing. There's a lot of mass there. 2 anti-airs as well. So you have to knock up both anti-airs to have the bombers reign supreme, which is not necessarily easy. It does have 2 tanks here to help out that, as well as Neo tank, but also lacking a bit of spotting. Does spot the Mega tank now. Does not manage to machine gun that down. It's a lock roll, and of course we don't know a fractional health. And I think making that loss, failing to kill there, probably forced him to resign. It's like, I have one opportunity to break through and do some work. And in this case, it failed, preventing him from taking out the anti-air. And yeah, I think at that point in time, it's like, yeah, probably lost the game. This and great saying, thank you for watching, and on to the next replay. That does take a bit of time to get a Mega tank to the front line. Especially since Lash can at least make him avoid some terrain penalties of a power or superpower. Mega tanks are best used for COs who have just decent mobility buffs like Adder. And honestly, Jess is not bad. Mega tanks are basically designed for Jess since she's also replenished the fuel and ammo, and since they only have 3 ammo. Yep. Oh, let's see now. Next replay. Oops. Did I have both? I must click the same replay. Here we go. Check. Let me give me a moment to fix the whatchamacallit. The display. And yeah, I think that's good. Of course, we won't see the terrain star and little and health indicator, but this way it's also maximum vision of the map. I think that's good. Either way, let's get started. Greetings everyone, and great here for another Advanced Wars by Web replay. Spawn top side as the blue Kindle got Owl Tertium, I think. Spawn south side as the Black Hole Adder, we got Tesla 246. This map is a 3-base map with an airport along the side, 2 bases, a base and airport, so split that way. Let's see, there's also a pair of comm towers in the center of the map as well. And this airport is somewhat forward, which means battlecraft can quickly come on out, but also can be locked down by an anti-air a little bit easier, and or missile. The missile just needs to sit on top of this force and be able to lock down the airport. It's not too terribly far forward as well. There'll be a little bit open ground, but chance of still seeing a missile is unlikely. And because as well, since there's 3 bases, battlecopter deployments probably be a lot less common since it's just going to be a bit expensive. Do now have an artillery piece deployed by Adder, while Kindle has gone for a tank. When it comes to day-to-day benefits, of course, Adder gets no day-to-day benefits, as well as +1 +2 movement speed for powers and superpower. Kindle's day-to-day I always view as a retaliation day-to-day passive, because after all, say you have a tank on top of the city, your opponent attacks the tank on top of the city, you pull back the tank and replace a fresh tank to hit it with plus 40% damage retaliation. Got this tank pushed pretty far forward. I'm wondering, should Adder go for a battlecopter here and punch the push too far forward. It would be a base skip, because he has 11,000 funds. But this may be a case, weird indication where base skip to get a battlecopter hit the tank. That's an idea. Tank, mech, infantry. Tanks just has to fall back there. ATR there. Now, this adder anti-air is in range of the airport, so effectively locking it down. Just gets on top of the city there. Does lack that supporting tank there, so this tank could get a good shot there. Yeah, I think the anti-air should have pulled back a little bit farther to avoid the tank even more so, because now this tank is still just charged forward, get a shot there, but 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, so yeah. If this infantry unit gets picked off, then he can get a free strike on the anti-air, but that's not that likely right now. So yeah, this anti-air is protected. Now we've got a decent line infantry here with a tank and anti-air in the region. Infantry, artillery. Artillery gets a good strike there. Adder's been getting some okay work with the artillery piece done. Take out infantry is not a massive achievement, but it's always quite nice. Of course, it's preventing this tank and anti-air from charging forward because it'll just get ripped apart. Good shot there in the anti-air. He did pull back the tank. Tank is in range of the tank. Of course, I got a tank to protect the tank. He's a strike there on the recon and will machine gun it down. And the thing is, well, Kendall has her comm power, Adder does not, so she does have plus 10% firepower. Effectively, she's enjoying the Hawk lifestyle. And it looks like that tank's going to be completely surrounded. It is fully encased out of this region and pulls back the anti-air while at it. Battlecopters here. I think the anti-air pod could just try somewhere along the edge here so it can stay in range of the battlecopter. But now this tank can go down. Flash can get on top of the city and probably one-shot one of those infantry units there. Probably won't one-shot, but just get some good damage there. Great strikes there. Follow-up tank shot there. Does not take out the tank. Now in range of the artillery piece and battlecopter. ATR is not in range of the artillery piece. So overall, great position there by Kendall. Battlecopter, tank, infantry. Good shots there. Has now a Urban Blight available. Meanwhile, she can always eye when to pop up Urban Blight to whittle down something valuable, would be on the field or fresh deployed. Let's see now. If she were to pop up Urban Blight, it will hit, of course, the anti-air, tank, and tank. Put this tank down to 1% health. So infantry unit could finish it off. Then she can get a booster strike from there. Could hit something here, whether it be the infantry or the tank. And yeah, I can see this. Problem is, infantry unit can't range this. This tank is in the way. How much would a boosted infantry attack does to an infantry unit? If that does a one-shot, that means the anti-air can take the battlecopter. But there's some play to go on around here. So yep, this may be a good time to do an Urban Blight. Also whittles down here, which could also, if someone finishes off that infantry unit there, then it could be a boost strike on one of these two assets. So yeah, I think it's time for Urban Blight. Oops, spacebar does not mean play, wrong game. Looks like she was able to accomplish that without Urban Blight, or just did that for Power Charge. Very nice. And there's some room you can really put some pressure over here. Of course, Adder does have a superpower available. Could retaliate. Or get a booster strike there. And looks like she's just going to withdraw out of that region. It's probably a good idea. Stays on top of the property there. Oops, wrong button. Tank, tank, tank. What was the saying from Halo? Tanks beat everything. Now we got a side slip. Side slip will of course allow him to get another side slip the next turn. He will be left over with 27,000 out of 121. So you can see a 1-2 punch here. Of course, he does have to brave the plus 8% boosted damage from the properties, but plus 10% and 10% offense defense. So Kindle will have good counterattack damage to some of these properties. Overall, it looks like I'm going to see no push over here. Kindle's turn. Could possibly get another Urban Blight this turn, but unlikely. Good strike there on the artillery piece. We'll try to machine gun it a little bit. Capture the property. That's if that oh, then one shot it. Force defense stars is still quite useful. Plus 10% defense from power. Battlecopter tank. Good strike there. We have another battlecopter over here, but this thing here is non-range. Maybe non-range. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. It can be in range. May see an Urban Blight this turn. Let's see. Not too many properties really pushed off of. Pushing off to here to hit an infantry unit's okay, but not great. Hit an infantry unit here. So yeah, I think Adder did a pretty good job staying off the properties. Get a lot of outlying damage there. Finish off that tank there. Now the 8 here, 4 health 8 here could finish off that, and the 3 health 1 hit. Oh. Oh, can't reach it. The force is reducing movement. That's what it was. My bad. And here's the Urban Blight, probably just trying to whittle down her opponent. Adder did a good job staying off the properties. Kindle does have 25,000 income versus 22. I don't think this Urban Blight was too particularly useful. Just whittles down her opponent. Kindle ends her of 128,000. Adder starts a turn of 92. So got a decent income advantage. Or not necessarily income, but deployment advantage. And here comes a side slip for another one for the second punch. Does leave him enough with almost enough for another side slip as well. Chaining some side slips, but he may run to a wall really soon. Finish off a lot of outlying units there. Very nice. Battlecopter. And doing a good job of holding on to some of these 1 health units. They always have a nice sort of bit of wall. And Adder ends the turn of 108,000. Kindle starts the turn of 101. So did call the advantage quite a bit. He drops the capture there. No chance of Urban Blight this turn. medium tank, anti-air, infantry. Looks like Kendall's gonna try break through with a medium tank. It's not that unit there. He has enough for a side slip. He actually goes for the side slip. Let's see how well it goes. Gets a shot in the tank. Does not finish it off there. Finish it off there. Taking off some of his outlying infantry units there. Very nice. Mech gets a nice sprinting shot there. Very nice. Adder is maybe one of the best commanders for, or COs for mechs. Tank, infantry. Could see Urban Blight next turn, or this turn. Which could, let's see, push off the city to hit infantry units. Overall, it seems like Adder did another good job of staying off of properties and staying away from properties. So I don't think Urban Blight would be too particularly effective, just a bit of attrition damage. And there's Urban Blight there. It also does give a +10/+10. Also, we're seeing how well Adder's playing around the properties. She might just want to save up for a High Society. High Society gives you very, very good amount of power. Because if I were to just click on one of her tanks, she would roughly get, what, over 78,000 not 78,000, 78% firepower globally, which is actually pretty good. Kindle's superpower is not bad, just Urban Blight is just excellent. I'd say it's just good, in my opinion. And that's the problem as well, you got a good superpower with an excellent power. So you try to go for your power more often, which you really should. Also, you get, say, plus 78%, plus 130% firing from urban property. You can get colon level firepower bonuses as playing Kindle when firing off of properties. Good shots there. We managed to gun down that helicopter or battlecopter. And Adder still has a decent amount of artillery there. Kindle's starting to lose a decent amount of assets. She does still have some battlecopters. No Adder side slip, but Adder has now blown out a Neo tank. And I think as well, it feels like Adder's in a better position, but Kindle still has more on the field. I don't know, it's sort of weird. It just feels like to me, Adder's in a great position. He's done very well this game, but he's still behind. I think what's doing it is the 3,000 income difference. It does add up over time and gives you more leverage to do more damage as well. There's the anti-air there. Managed to finish off the battlecopter. Is going to strike the artillery piece, but of course, got a full health artillery piece in range. Now manage the wounded ones. But yeah, he only has 3 tanks in the field. Neo tank is quite nice. Battlecopter artillery tank. Maybe better go for a bit more mobile forces than going for artillery, since she may eye for some aggression, because right now she does it in turn 126, Adder starts turn 76. Massive difference. Takes out that one near there, whittles down that tank. Anti-air takes out the battlecopter. Tank on tank. Finish off the tank there, very nice. Trying to finish some of his outlying infantry units there, very nice. Drops the capture. There's still a decent number of despicable neutral properties in the field, all on the Adder side of the field. This is where the income disparity is. These lack of properties. Neo tank right forward. Kindle's turn. There is a possibility. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. No, the medium tank's out of range. The Neo tank can't get on top of that city there. Pops Urban Blight. Let's see now. got one property here to get boost strike from. Another one here, but that's really just striking infantry. Also boost strike from this column tower on this artillery piece. Mostly used for the attrition damage, as I said earlier. Could see a superpower from Adder, but maybe we're gonna just go for power than power. Adder's medium tank is now in range of, or Kindle's medium tank is now in range of Adder's Neo tank. I think regular power is the way to go, unless he needs a +1 movement range. I don't think he can make use of the +1 movement range or +2 movement range all too well. Guess we'll find out soon enough. Does pop the power. Strikes the infantry unit. Really wants to stop the capture to make income difference. Ugh. Even though it's a very juicy target there, I understand. Feels bad. He is too far behind income to let a property get flipped. Artillery whittling down the Neo tank. Does actually make a good strike there. Neo tank strikes the medium tank from the city. Bit of a reach around there. Does not finish off the medium tank there. That thing must be at 1% health right now. Let's see, is there anything? Kindle still has the advantage, 92,000 versus 83. She still has a good number of battle copters here, that's what's probably really going to do Adder in. He has no, he has one ATR in range, which of course a side slip can make it go further. Getting some good shots there. This property has 10 capture progress remaining, just soon it's going to be down to 6, so you don't have to worry about stopping the capture entirely. You can let the anti-air pursue the battlecopter. Good battlecopter strike there on the mech. No side slip there. Yeah, looks like this one can't range any of these battlecopters up here. There's some outlying units there. Neo tank strikes the light tank and the infantry unit there, spreading his fire. Still, this thing has to be at 1% health now. Finally goes down to the 5 health infantry. Battlecopter. Another anti-air. Kindle does have a Neo tank up here, so both sides of the Neo tank, and does have some battlecopters. Couple good spots for artillery there. Neo tank, infantry, artillery. Actually, Adder has 21,000 in the field. Is it going to go for something heavy? There's only one anti-air in the field. Maybe a bomber? It is out of range of the airport. Probably a Neo tank, a chain of Neo tanks at this point in time. Oh wait, no, he already has received data income. Sorry, I'm completely brain dead. Artillery. Adder's just trying to lock down the map of artillery. Try and play grit. He has movement range, not artillery range. Okay, so the battlecopter there. 2F battlecopter gets a shot on the artillery. He may be, oh, good shot there. I wonder if the battlecopter can be knocked out by the tank there. Right now, looks like Adder's trying to disintegrate on the right flank. Right now, Kindle does have a 140 in the field versus 102. Could see a side slip this turn while it gets the power charge going. Urban Blight's now available. Good strike there. Does not take the Battle Copter there, and I see a pretty good Urban Blight next turn. Yeah, this is probably the turn that Kindle just made outright win the game. Urban Blight, you got a Urban Strike here, got a 2-health Battle Copter takes an artillery piece, and then strike the tank there for a boosted strike. Battle Copter here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Boost strike there onto the, whatchamacallit. Battle Copters move 8, right? 1, 2, 3. No, they just move 6. Never mind about that one. So yeah, there's going to be Boost Strike here, Boost Strike there. And over here, got a possible Boost Strike. There's a couple opportunities for Boost Strikes up here, though not really. Other piece will get a Boost Strike on that 2-health infantry unit there. But I see a pretty good Urban Blight down here. But just goes for a regular assault there. One shots it, did not need Urban Blight for that. Strikes that unit directly manually. And I really think that Battle Copter should have struck the tank there, but the artillery would have been in range of this tank here. You may see a side split next turn, you may see a Sidewinder. Artillery infantry tank. And here comes the side slip. Let's see now. Also movement range, always quite nice. Does get some chip damage there. It is turn 92 versus 146, so he is still pretty far behind. Takes up the Battle Copter with the mech. Mech there, because with mouse size of heads, he can really get a good chain of mech sprint shots. Largely rotating around here, he can really lock down this region. But he doesn't have too many offensive units. Not enough tanks, I would say, over here. He has a good amount of anti-air. Maybe a little bit too many artillery here, because it's 5 artillery pieces. There is now a mega tank in the field. But I think his just force is a little bit too slow, and this is probably a good time for Urban Blight just to drain some funds with a mega tank. Because that shall be pretty damaging. Lock on for the free power charge. There's Urban Blight. There's going to go his Adder's next turn day-to-day funds. Good strike there. Could see a booster strike on the Neo. Got some decent damage there. Goes for the boost strike there. Knocks it out in one hit. They got the artillery there. Infantry hits the mech. Hits the mech. Artillery piece now locking down the base, and this is pretty much game over, locking down the space here. He has lost 2 of his production facilities. Battlecopter Rocket. You know, he's lacking units to project forward, though he is Adder, he can project forward. The Rocket can help range out the artillery, so it's not a terrible thing this game. And maybe she gets a booster strike from her own cities and just nuke everything. Just become a Scud launcher. Nice chain of artillery shots there. Good canes here, and Adder does go ahead and resign his Angrade, saying thank you for watching, and on to the next replay. Before I get started on the next replay, do you need to utilize the restroom? Please give me a moment. My apologies, I'm back. And something I also noticed, well, I need to clean up some hard drive space because I'm actually out of hard drive space. Give me a moment. Let's see. This is... Let's see, I know I uploaded all my videos, I had a backlog of to upload. So delete all of these. Yes, delete all of them. And deleting all the videos I need to delete because I already uploaded them just freed up 180 gigs. Let's see now. Now on to the next replay. Let's see now. Adjust this window. Let's see. This should be reasonable. And let's go ahead and get started. Greetings everyone, and Gerd here for another Advanced Wars by Web replay. So on the south side as Jade Sun Hawk, we got the Fang. On the north side as the Pink Cosmos Sasha, we got XL napkins, so extra large napkins. Definitely a username of all time. Either way, this map is a relatively... how to put it? It's a little bit of a busy map for the amount of, say, the big line of missile silo platforms. But there's a good amount of roads here, which roads do lead to both sides here, so recon rushes are a possibility, even if not fog of war. This map is 3 base, 1 airport. And also both players do have access to 1 comm tower, so get plus 10% firepower. Speaking of which, Hawk's day-to-day bonus gets plus 10% firepower, making his units a little bit more effective. Well, Sasha does get plus 10% income, which is also very nice as well. Which could pay out a bit longer in the longer run, but we'll have to wait and see. As plus 10 firepower can immediately give you some good advantages. Oops. And does another capture there, but will probably go down to the Hawk tank. Does bring up our own tank here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, which will not be able to replace the recon there. So, good little early pick there with an interrupt. Her sacking some stuff for interrupts could be quite nice, so she is an income CO. In that small little advantage of balloon or forward, maybe? Pushes forward the tank onto the missile silo. No fall protection tank there. Goes for tank over here. So this tank placement is a little bit interesting to me. I don't see a reason why not to charge forward and hit that tank there. This is questionable, I would say. Because I can see this being a good possibility if there's a follow-up tank here to replace this one. But that's not the case. Got a tank here to ready to engage the tank. Sasha right now has 14,300. Does retaliate there. So it's going to be a bit of a stalemate. A pure victory overall for Hawk. You have another reinforcing tank there, but it's probably just good just to retaliate onto this tank. Or maybe try to focus on this infantry unit there. Pulls back to HQ instead, okay. And does decide to retaliate there. Finish off the infantry unit there. This capture will probably be stopped next to... Actually, no, this tank's out of range. 5 capture pressure could be interrupted even further with the 4 health tank, but it's hard to say. Tank there makes some good sense. This is a bit of a strong side, weak side mechanic on this map. Got 1 base here, 2 bases here. Airport can go either direction, but also more leaded to the weak side. There's also, on the weak side, there's a couple mountains here along with the HQ and missile platform, so you can set up a decent defensive line of artillery and other indirects behind these 2 mountains. So the weak side does give extra defensive bonuses based on map design. Of course, this game could go in either direction. I've seen weak sides be the strong sides be the weak side. Based on the infantry unit there. Probably gonna see a tank down over here. Reinforce. Yep, we do. 64,000, so it won't be able to find anything else. Maybe artillery piece here. Yep. I love it when I guess correctly. And perfectly rounds it out with an infantry unit. Stops that captured. More tanks pushing down south for the winter. Anti-air tank infantry. Both sides have now the airport. Got Hawk has 16,000 versus Sasha's 18,700. So she has what, 17 properties versus 16. So one capture advantage. Not necessarily income though. Infantry. Pops via market crash, not big surprise. After all, she can just simply deny Black Storm and or Black Wave for quite some time. Hawk may need to pull up Black Waves if he has the opportunity rather than trying to save for Black Storm. And right now she does have 19,000, which gives her like 30% power reduction. I forget the offhand math at the moment. Does not take out that tank there, leaving 1 health, so it'll be at 3 health next turn. Able to retaliate against the 3 health tank, no problem. Battlecopter tank and infantry. What if there's a place where he can put the artillery piece that provides some protection, reasonable protection? Reinforcing tank gets a good shot there, finish it off. This guy would take there. So yeah, putting the artillery piece behind the 2 tanks is quite feasible. Let's go over there. That's probably a better spot. Hard to say for me to say sometimes. I thought it would be on top of the planes here, but I guess the tank could simply reach around and touch it inappropriately. But this spot is a little bit more protected, so that's probably a better spot for it. Tank, anti-air, infantry. I don't know why when my hand's just a little bit heavy, I just hit right click. It happens all the time. Let's see now. Hawk's turn starts 60,000, Sasha in turn 72. Of course, she does 16,000 income, so it's still day-to-day difference. Subtract some of these outlying infantry units there. Decides not to take a shot in this 3 health infantry unit there. Both back the wooden tanks there. Finish off the 3 health infantry unit there. Trying to capture this neutral property. Got 19,800 for 17. Tank, infantry. Sasha now has 24,000 fuel, so she may go for a Neo tank this turn. Yep, there's a Neo tank. Infantry. And I'll go for infantry for the last one. And there. Sasha ends her turn with a 95,000 field. Hawk starts his turn 79. Starting to fall a little bit behind, but nothing too significant. Got a lot of tanks here by Sasha with 1 artillery piece. Hawk's just trying to play defense over here. Doesn't have too many aggressive units over here. Good shot there. Takes out the tank. Easy pick there. But now in range of the artillery piece. That may not have been a good location there, but of course got the tank here. Pops and market crash. Hawk does retain a little bit of power charge. Our next mark costs 25,000. His Black Wave is 45. Now we're going to talk about Black Storm. So Hawk's artillery is in range, has 2 good assets. Got double artillery piece there. I think he could strike the anti-air, then go for a battlecopter as a possibility. Or maybe a full bomber. He has 25,000, so that could give him a bomber and 3 infantry. Let's see what he does. Does strike the anti-air there. Plus, he could just pull a bomber go this direction as well. This is no anti-air up here. Him going for bomber would probably force Sasha to go for double anti-air next turn. Or pull back his anti-air to probably to the city here. Those are Neo Tank. Does pull back the anti-air, gonna pull it pretty far back since there's no battle compute. She can take time to pull back to a city to get some repairs. It looks like you're just going to try to solidify this defensive line there. Has, of course, the missile platforms and the mount here. There's good defensive point, and Hawk has a good amount of tanks in this region, a very good number of tanks. And this Neo Tank's out of range in the Neo Tank. Some outlying infantry units there, puts a round into the tank, finish off that tank infantry unit there. May be able to stretch for another. Yeah, we'll be able to stretch for both these artillery pieces here as well. Granted, this was a 6 health tank, but still very good amount of damage on all those artillery pieces there. Able to exploit the breakthrough. Now this infantry needs to push forward, but stay out of range of the artillery piece to. Yeah, can take a 4 health artillery piece shot there. Let's ward away the battlecopter. This is quite a bit of momentum game on Hawk's weak side. Neo Tank push way forward. If the Neo Tank strikes a Neo Tank, it may give enough for a Black Wave to even out the fight. It just puts an infantry wall there. We'll likely see a market crash this turn. Hawk's artillery piece gets triple tapped, but does survive, but barely. Market crash not available. Pops it. Does not have enough to go completely remove his power bar. Now she has +10/+10 this turn to help counteract the Hawk's day-to-day of +10. Hawk's Neo Tank's out of range of Sasha, so they've got this Rugged Tank away. There's some good shots there. Anti-air takes the artillery piece. Artillery piece goes not down. That was right there. Maybe could have gone 1, 2 and tried this one. That's always the 1 health. Okay, there's that one there. I think as well, Hawk could pull back these tanks. Remember as well, Black Wave and Black Storm is like Andy's hyper repair. But 1 extra health goes a long way. You can play like Andy to a certain degree. And start for 101,000. Sasha starts turn 91, so Hawk's pulling some advantage. And there may be a good chance she will not get a market crash this turn. She will need double damage dealt. She needs to do about 50,000 damage just to get a market crash, which is highly unlikely. I have a feeling that Hawk will get his Black Wave next turn, and he may just need to pop it. I think as well, if Hawk pops his Black Wave, then Sasha could just save a power charge and save extra power charge to get a chain of market crashes as well. If she can just simply take the single Black Wave, she can get a good chain of market crashes and maybe do some good work from there. It's hard to say. She does pull back. Neo Tank's in range of the Neo Tank. Could be softened up with a Black Wave. Tank, tank, tank. Triple tank. Good shot there. There's the Black Wave, getting quite a bit extra health regen. Got put in 94. I'm curious. Went from 89 to 94. Not bad. Extra 5,000 funds. Fabricated. But I need to do some units on top of the bases as well as cities. Marker crash not available, but like I said, she can simply just store it up. Try to go for a chain of marker crashes. Does not go for a flip. Gets the pick there. And Hawk may just be a defensive here. He has a lot of assets there. Okay, the Neo Tank's starting to rotate in the center. Try to put pressure on that medium tank. He has a battlecopter in region as well. Sasha has this in here. Battlecopter, infantry. Now is probably a good time for Hawk to really focus the battlecopter production due to the lack of anti-air for Sasha in the field. And right now she needs stuff to counter out tanks and not pulling out anti-airs. Battlecopters could be a good middle ground approach then. Hawk's anti-air does take a pretty good shot there. Yep, she's getting a decent amount of power charge. Hawk's turn starts the turn with 95,000. Sasha ends for turn with 94, so Hawk has about 1 turn ahead in value. Decent amount of stuff here, so Hawk may run to a brick wall relatively soon. Neotank needs to get in range of that medium tank. So Pat's parking on top of this forest. Pulling back some of these wounded tanks. Trying to flip some property there. Right now, Hawk does have 20,000 versus Sasha 1980. So she has 18 properties with Hawk's just 20. Helicopter, tank, infantry. Pop some market crash now. How much power charge did he have? Not a whole lot, so this is a bit of a desperate market crash for the plus 10% firepower and defense overall. I don't know if that was a good idea. Maybe she could have got some initial engagement to get a little bit extra power charge going. But this is a combat market crash. Her Neo Tank advance on the flank. That Neo Tank's out of range Neo Tank. That's poor positioning. Sure, there's an artillery piece in range, but it's generally better to get a first strike on your opponent's Neo Tank. Okay, got the regular tank in the way. Good. She fixed her mistake. Great strike there on the artillery piece. And Hawk's infantry is now advancing. Will not stop that capture. That may have been a poor choice. I think he should have used this guy to stop the capture. Though it's supposed to 2 capture progress, so it's probably unlikely that he's going to actually stop it anymore. Just concedes the property. Trying to go flip some other properties. The Neo Tank falls back to range the other Neo Tank. Looks like he's doing a bit of a front switch, pulls back all of his wounded tanks, gets some forward healing, and then focuses advantage over on the right flank with a battlecopter and Neo Tank with some supporting tanks here. She needs a anti-air over in this region. Battlecopter, recon, infantry. So yeah, good front switch. Pulls back, able to buy some time, get some healings there on these tanks. Another battlecopter. Well, she pulls another battlecopter there, which means no ETR, so this battlecopter will get a good strike in the battlecopter, and Hawk's gonna be fine with a chain of battlecopters. Goes for ATR there as well. Oh, I thought she had like 4,000 funds. She must have emerged. I wasn't really paying close enough attention. Flips the trying to flip the property back. captures the property. Hawk is getting some good income advantage. Market Crash now available. Be a decent idea to pop us probably next turn just to tank Hawk's power charge again. Battlecopter, infantry. Another Market Crash hit does not take out Hawk's power charge entirely. Gives the day-to-day repairs plus her less income now. Takes out the Battlecopter. It doesn't, not necessarily. 2 1-health Battlecopters. Black Wave can get them up to 2 health. Another Battlecopter by Sasha. Neo Tank Trick 4. This property will be flipped back. He will do a flip. Now it's 22 versus 76. The advantage is getting quite large. Now sort of infantry sacks the infantry unit there. Takes out that unit there. Takes out that one. Takes out or puts more holes in that artillery piece. Just good strike there. Merge the Battlecopters. Does that one down. Takes time to shoot the medium tank. Oh, gets the Black Wave. That's what he was doing. Get a bit of health regen. He went from 106 to 112, so this Black Wave is even better than the last. At least in value recovered. Damage-wise, probably does less. Did less. Another Battlecopter. The thing as well, Sasha has less and less income, so this little bit of attrition he'll inflict is going to be a bit important, though she does start a turn for 100 or 20,000. Not enough for a Neo Tank. May need to go for a medium tank here. Pops a Market Crash. I think this is her popping Market Crash, doing stuff in the Resign move. And Pipe Runner. Either way, this is Angrade saying thank you for watching, and on to the next replay. Before I get started next replay, I'm going to just open up a drink. I had a couple of drinks, I had very little left, so if I can finish this off, now we're full. Alright, let's find another replay. Very big map. Give me a moment to fix some stuff. Let's see, where are the COs? Wait, need to shrink the map size. There we go. There we go. Now time to fix the map size. No, I can probably skim off a little bit there since the map is so large. Yeah, I'm going to skim off some of the edges. Usually don't like to do this, but there's a lot of unnecessary space along the sides of this map. I think that will be good. Yep, and that should be good enough. Greetings everyone, and Grade here with another Advanced Wars by Web replay. So on the south side as a Black Hole Drake, we've got Moji 6 spawned north side as the, was this Teal Cosmos? Teal Galaxy Kindle. We got Papa Hola. Oh, I butchered that name well enough. For those who are watching the YouTube video later on, I have skimmed off some of this map here, off the sides, because there's a lot of extra dead space. If somehow some of that dead space actually be utilized, I will try to fix that. By the way, let's get started. Kindle is, of course, on the south side. This is what appears to be a 3-base map with 2 airports. So quite a bit, 2 airports, 3 bases. Probably won't see all that production being utilized at once. There's also a pair of compounds in the corner, so it's a pair of compounds somewhat in the middle. It's also a good number of forests here, hence why I skimmed some of it all off. Which means a lot of extra hiding spaces along the side, in case the infantry wants to circle around the flank. We have an early Kindle or Drake artillery piece there. Drake does receive no damage penalties for his ground units. He only gets minus 30% firepower of his air. So his ground is completely and utterly ordinary. And of course does get plus 40% attack when attacking from urbanized terrain, which is very powerful as a retaliation tool. Artillery and tank now pulling the field. We've got a Drake tank. Of course, this backline airport is a safe airport. It'll take quite a bit of time for units to push them forward. This forward airport can get you some pretty nice units here. But of course, it'll be relatively easy to lock down. The backline airport, you can traverse around, no problem, the backline. Won't necessarily be in concealed location, just simply out of possible vision range, unless somehow your opponent is seeing the backline entirely. Got a bit of a strike there. Good strike there on that tank on the property. Warm Street, Drake's tank is in range of this tank. You probably do a double tap there. But a very good spot to strike his artillery. I'm so surprised how probably Kindle just got a little bit lucky on Drake's positioning there. Or no, Drake got pretty lucky on to Kindle's positioning there. Battlecopter push right forward. Kindle's battlecopters do get boost strikes from being on top of cities. Both sides have captured up one comm tower at the moment. Kindle's going for a second. Drake will get her, or Drake's going for a second. Kindle will get her started next turn. I don't know why. I think it's a black hole color making me think Kindle. It's throwing me off. Artillery there, tank and battlecopter. Kindle's being a little bit defensive at the moment. Kindle right now is 18,000. Drake just captured a whole bunch of properties, so now at 19, including 2 comm towers. But it looks like both sides being a little bit passive. Though Kindle does have a good amount of forward infantry here for a good amount of spotting and exposing type of force. So Kindle feels like in a better position, though I think she's took more losses so far this game. Pushing forward these battlecopters, both of them. Tank to support, get a boost strike there. Anti-air, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Cannot range the battlecopter with that tank placement. So it looks like Kindle got a little bit lucky there. Don't think there's any way for this anti-air to strike any of these battlecopters. Don't think there's any way for this infantry unit to go down, nor this tank to go down. So, Kindle got a little bit on the lucky side. Anti-air push right forward there. And we do have a tank here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Can strike the anti-air there. So, looks like if Kindle were to strike this tank there, and then fall off the tank here, should be a pretty good, but got chain of anti-airs being blocked by Drake. Kindle will not be able to see this anti-air here, but let's just gonna go for the anti-air. And if somehow, oh, gets shot there. I was thinking if somehow she could take out this infantry unit and get a boost strike on this tank, but I don't think that's possible. Also gets the infantry unit on top of a mountain for good spotting. It will spot this other anti-air, so maybe she should have done that first before moving everything else. Though then again, she couldn't have got a free shot on the 2 health anti-air, but still, that's like a minor loss there. Let's surround that unit there, so it looks like the battlecopters may be safe once again with all the stuff in front of them. And looks like that more and more the case. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yep, this battle, it has to be placed right here to strike this battlecopter. So looks like her battlecopters are safe again this turn. Up north, I've not really been paying too much attention. Looks like both sides a little bit idle. We've got some decent gains up here by Kindle. Kindle has 19,000 versus 19,000. We'll do a flip next turn. And perhaps interrupt this Mountaineer, the Alpine troop. Good strike there. Got an Urban Blight. Takes out the tank there. It will manage to strike the battlecopter. So, I was mistaken. So we could see a tsunami this turn. This map is quite large, so maybe a tsunami wouldn't be half bad. Just draining some fuel. Likely we'll see an Urban Blight next turn. Or could save it up. I don't think an Urban Blight will actually be too particularly useful this turn. I think she should just probably fall back with the battlecopters and prepare for another counter attack. But I don't think an Urban Blight is going to be too successful this turn. Get a boost strike there, be able to overcome the defense. Yeah, she's going to do a front shift. Yep, swords on her Urban Blight. High Society is not half bad either, because right now she would receive 63% firepower for Urban Society, High Society, which is actually quite powerful. Tank infantry recon. Can start trying to flip some properties now. Get some shots over here. I think he has a good idea. There's a artillery piece there. Does get infantry in range. Start capturing. Can be interrupted because of 1, 2, 3. Infantry, recon, and battlecopter. Takes out the infantry unit with 1 strike. Get some good damage there. She has a lot of battlecopters. There's a lot of things here, but there's a lot of anti-airs. This game can get very explosive very quickly. High Society is now available, but I don't think it is a good idea at this moment. I don't know if a lot of this is simply not range. This is a very large map. There's a Neo tank there, so that was a perfect time for Urban Blight, but that's we have Castle Vision, we can see everything. Get some good strikes there. Booster strike there. Battlecopter infantry, anti-air infantry. There's also a threat of a typhoon, and Kindle should try to get a high society or urban blight off before the typhoon. Because typhoon, the longer the game goes on, the worse off she will be. Interrupts that capture a little bit more, takes out that unit there. Neo tank straightforward, this time not on top of a property. Recon tank infantry. Try and capture some properties. Has good vision, pops the high society. So right now she does have, I'm pretty sure still there's just a 63%. Yep, plus 63%, but she will have ludicrously high damage. Especially if attacking from urban property. Because right now she's plus 63% plus 130% from urban property. She gets Colon level firepower from properties. 200% effectively. Now there's Typhoon. Let's see how well Kindle does this turn. A lot of her stuff will just be one-shotting. I'll take out the anti-air there. I'm not sure if that's important. Everything else is just lagging me too far behind. And now here comes Typhoon. There's no reason why not to wait. Kindle ends turn 144, Drake starts turn 118, and this will at least call off probably 30,000 more for funds. Hard to say though, because with Fog of War, we won't see this number change too much. Actually, oops. Take some shots there, didn't really need to do that. And now the Neo Tank straightforward. Kindle doesn't really have anything really stop that Neo Tank. It's not on top of an urbanized property. Missile silo platforms are not urban terrain. Nor do I think missiles silos. Gets a lot of good damage there. Picks off some of these outlying units. A lot of anti there. Gets trapped on the artillery piece. Gets a good shot there. Probably be interrupted even further. The 8 health infantry can help do a joint capture again. Well, let's see. Kindle starts turn for 96. Correct, ends turn 143. So very powerful Typhoon. A lot of anti-airs here. She does have a number of tanks, so she can start doing counterattack with both the tanks and battlecopters. Let's see what she does. It's boss infantry unit there. Get a boost strike there. Both thanks to 3-star defense and plus the 10% defense from the superpower. Didn't do too much damage there. That's getting whittled down. Tank infantry. Looks like she's pulling back some of these battlecopters. She has a lot of battlecopters. Right now she has 7 battlecopters, which Drake's just 1. Grand Drake does have a lot less firepower as battlecopters. Yep, so Kindle is starting to fall behind. Good battlecopter strike there. So 8 years in range of it, and gonna be a boost strike there. Does not take out the tank there. 8 years rotating all over here. Gonna be overreaction. Because there's actually, we know with our cast division, there's a good number of battlecopters there. So having all these 8 years rotating over here is a little bit overreaction. Artillery, recon, infantry, battlecopter. There's some good strikes there. Takes up that battlecopter. Did not need the booster strike for that. Artillery, recon, tank. Maybe a bad idea for Kindle go for artillery. Since she has to be a bit more aggressive, she may want to go for more aggressive units. You don't want to play the long game against Drake, that's for sure. Drake's making great headways over here. We now have Urban Blight available, which could allow her to get a great boost strikes from this city. Drake's also trying to obtain his 2 central properties. It's still despicably neutral. Make sure you recon tank. Good strikes there. Battle Cop's down to 29 fuel each. Yeah, I just don't see this map being super great for Kindle the more I look at it. The larger the map means she's having trouble with the boosted strikes, and plus she's fighting against Drake, which larger maps I think do better with the global damage COs. While she does have technically global damage, but also really not really. Does go ahead and interrupt 2 captures there and wound some of these other units, but most of her units are already off property. It's just got this anti-air there for additional collateral and this one here. Drains off some funds, but he starts to turn 19,000 to bank out of 19 day-to-day funds. She does leave herself with 5,000 funds in the bank, so she may buy for some Neo tanks next turn. Takes out another battle copter. Infantry, anti-air, recon. Tsunami can be brought on in case he really wants to bring the fuel drain. Neo-tank infantry, or Neo-tank infantry and base skip. There's a good strike down the recon. Finish off the infantry unit. This infantry unit can at least get on top of the mountain for spotting. Neo-tank in a very defensive position. Drake has not been eyeing for any aggression, while Kindle has. He knows the longer the game goes on, the more he uses his superpower. APC, a battlecopter infantry, trying to refuel some of these battlecopters up. They're getting a little bit low, like 13 fuel. They do bleed 2 fuel per turn. This infantry unit is going down south. I wonder if he's going to try base blocking one of these airports. 2 health, so won't be a too long of a block. You could just keep this infantry unit next to this airport and continue to spot on it, since it won't be revealed being on top of floors. Infantry tank. Oh, he does have a vision of the airport in his current position, so that's probably where it's going to be his spot there. I always forget they have 2 vision range, not just 1. And of course, force reduce. You don't spot unless you're diagonal from it. And I was thinking a bit too much like Cup Heroes, so honestly, Cup Heroes 2 with flying sight blockers. Wrong game. Battlecopter, recon, infantry. Pretty static. Honestly, there's a very static game, so it's not exactly the greatest game to watch. Both players just posturing and not pushing any forward. Kindle doesn't want to push forward because of Typhoon, and Drake just would not want to push forward because of Typhoon. Because if you receive the attack, he can counterattack with Typhoon itself, and then his counterattack will be very much more easily, seeing everything's wounded by 2 damage, having all defense stars reduce effectiveness by 20%. He has a lot of incentives not to be aggressive, especially when their income's the same. The only neutral properties are in the middle still, but still quite despicably neutral. I wonder if anybody gets that reference. Futurama, if you're wondering. Oops, may have zoomed forward a little bit too fast. There we go. Do now have Typhoon available. She could just try to charge forward with her Urban Blight. Let's see what she does. Try to get some power charge beforehand. Urban Blight would have freed that spot up, and now we could see boost strikes from there. Or a boost strike. Now some of these outlying units there. She still has a massive number of battlecopters. She has right now 7 battlecopters. Of course, versus Drake's just 1. No Urban Blight this turn. And Typhoon this turn. High Society available next turn, which this may be one of the best case scenarios of it. All units pretty much in range, getting a massive bonus strike of 63% plus 10% for the activated power and super, so it'll be plus 73%. And if you're on Urbanized Terrain, plus 130%, rounding it up to 203% additional firepower. Yeah, here comes High Society. I think this Kindle's... She has to make this turn count in order to help stabilize the game, because right now I don't think she's going to get another turn. I do see a potential... Nope, the rain's reducing move speed, so no Neotank on Neotank. She may just hold off until after the rain. Nope, there's High Society. Getting some good damage there. Can't one-shot stuff. Does put the Neotank there. She may just use a boost strike from the battlecopter onto it. Yeah, this guy can't range. Gets some good damage there. Plus 5 damage from 8 health battlecopter. That's actually really good. There goes that recon big time. Runs down the anti-air. I don't think that was enough. 135,000 versus 156, so Drake's head by over a turn. Cleans up some of these outlying users. Now her Neotank can be struck by this Neotank. Yep, and here comes the counter attack. The retaliation. Sacks and Neotank. Let the Neotank take it with at full health, remaining at full health. Yeah. Infantry, Neotank infantry. Ends turn of 161,000. Kindle starts with 71, so she has even less than half value on the field. Could probably pop the Typhoon to really whittle, or Tsunami to really whittle her down. Make her a possibility of an attack this turn even less effective, which honestly probably would have been a good idea. Gets trapped there. Because right now the front lines have mashed in together. Reducing them all down by additional health would be quite actually effective. Drake's turn. Kindle ends turn for 87,000. Drake starts for 146. And a lot of battlecocks in range and a lot of anti-airs. We could actually see another Tsunami Typhoon this turn. Yeah, Typhoon this turn. He's getting pretty close. Urban Blight's not available. And no Typhoon this turn. Just ever so short, but not like Kindle has much. 56,000 versus 157. And just resign there. This Angerade saying, thank you for watching, and on to next replay. I'll have time for one more replay tonight, so let's make it a good one. That honestly was not a good one. Let's see, let me just go down my list, since by the time the next tomorrow comes around, not tomorrow, next week comes around, all these replays will not be viewable. Oh. Yep, this one shall do. Same map, but I think this one should be pretty good. By the way, let's get started. Not do anything to change the map as well. Greetings everyone, and Grade here with another Age of Empires Advanced Wars by Web replay. Spawn on the north side as the Gray Sky Max. We got X Old Man. Spawn bottom left bottom side as the Purple Lightning Olaf. We got Jotto Beer. For those who are watching this YouTube video later on, I have skimmed off parts side of the map because there's a lot of dead spots in this map that's not really important. The map is just very, very large with a, like, for example, you can see in the corners here, just got big forests of nothing. Which is just, I just skimmed those off so it's at least able to zoom in a little bit more into the map itself. Either way, this map is a triple base map with 2 airports. And of course, Fog of War. A lot of force on the site, so perhaps we can move around infantry units, say, to right around here to spot the airport being pulled into. This airport's forward means we can get on the map very quickly with battle copters. However, it means it can be easily locked down by anti-air or maybe by a stray missile in the forest. Hell, even a max missile could probably lock down this airport, because with there's so many forests here, you should be able to make use of it, even with one less movement or range. Early Olaf artillery here, which Max will probably not go for. You have a Max Recon for maximum reconnaissance. I would say the shorter the game goes, the better Max will do with this not have global damage, but also able to punch his opponent in the face really hard. The longer the game goes, the better Olaf will do. This is a triple base map, but there's also 2 airports, so possibility of battle copters, not necessarily guaranteed. It seems like double base maps offer more battle copter support, while triple base maps less so. Max has gone for double recon. And the artillery does get on top of this forest there, which I believe he had vision of it moving there. So Max knows where it's at. He can't hit it this turn. He has to spot it and then hit it. But we'll engage this infantry unit there. Oh, he did not see the artillery piece. That tank is now perfectly in range of this artillery piece there. So we're going to get a very good first strike there by Olaf. Not first blood. Max has already shut up this infantry a little bit there. Great strike there, knocks down the half health. And that tank will retaliate on the recon as well. So Olaf is taking pretty early advantage, knocking out most of Max's early game threats. And his last early game threat is another recon. Can't do much versus the tank, and can't do much versus artillery piece inside of the forest. Best thing that Max could try doing is charging the recon here, spot the artillery piece, and try to hit with the tank there. But that'll be sacking what's left of both those units. It does fall back to the city there. Recon can fall back to one of these forests. Tank, and infantry probably. Infantry. Olaf right now is 15,000 income versus Max's 14. Tank, anti-air, infantry. Olaf or Max is not captured this airport just yet. And we're probably going to see battle cops deployed out here more often than here. This is a nice one if you want to get a concealed deployment, move over here. But this one is for deployment, but it's easy to zone out with a single anti-air. So it gives you options. Recon, tank, and infantry. Good shot there on the capping squad. Tank gets a good strike on the recon and onto the infantry unit. Battlecopter, recon, infantry. Got a good amount of tanks on the front line. Olaf has a good core of tanks here with artillery support. Of course, not really good vision. Tanks do have decent spotting. And there's now that 4 health infantry unit on top of the mountain, providing some good spotting there. Of course, you can probably assume there's something that's on this forest. Knowing Max, it's probably he could make a safe assumption to deploy a tank, or it could be an infantry unit. We're all not going to expect a Max artillery there. Battlecopter, infantry, tank, infantry. Good strike there. Does maybe get a little bit too much in range of some of these units. We've got a battlecopter and a tank here, and we've got multiple battlecopters region. Max should have got an anti-air in this region sooner rather than later, but right now he has no. There's this first anti-air. I think this anti-air is a little bit too late. Now this battlecopter, these two battlecopters going to have free range of this region. Just needs a little bit of spotting. There's the spotting. Spots no anti-air. Finish off that infantry unit there. That just moves it right there. Tank can probably finish off the tank. Anti-air, recon, infantry. Jumps the capture. Right now it's 19,000 versus 18,000. The key property that's different is this property right there. But we've got a great amount of strikes there by Max's tanks. He's starting to push way forward. One battlecopter for fire support, but Max has a battlecopter as well. But you have to be careful around this anti-air. We do have a Blizzard available as well as a Max Force. Max Force probably won't be popped right now while we wait till the next turn. And if Olaf does not want to fight in Max Force next turn, he can pop a Blizzard just to slow down his opponent, dissuade him from going for the Max Force. Anti-air takes time, shoots that tank down, or up. Sacks the tank there, gets good retaliation. Does not take out that unit there. This map does offer 2 column towers, and both players have plus 20% firepower. Of course, Max does also get additional plus 20% firepower for his direct units, so he's at plus 40% firepower. Almost a Advanced Wars 1 Max, who's at what, plus 50%? We got now a Neo-Tank infantry. Yeah, Max apparently in Advanced Wars 1 was overpowered. He had a day-to-day bonus of plus 50% firepower on direct units. That's just stupid. Of course, he still retained the -1 range of artillery and minus 10% firepower. And that's not very extreme difference. Looks like Max is falling back a little bit there. You get some healing going. You may want to get his whether it be Max Force or Max Blast before the Blizzard comes on in, or Winter Fury. He doesn't not necessarily have to go for a Max Blast. Doesn't need a +1 move range and plus 10% additional firepower. Or can you just make do with a power and then perhaps get a follow-up punch later on? artillery, battlecopter, infantry. Let's see what Max goes for. He just got a superpower there. Shot up there, shot there. Is he not going for it? The chance of a Winter Fury next turn is highly likely. Battlecopter. Alright, he's setting up for next turn for a Max Force and or Max Blast. Perhaps the Ant will come in handy. Winter Fury, let's see now. He will need to do 12,000, so effectively needs to do 24,000 funds worth of damage this turn to get Winter Fury. That's probably not likely. Just wipe out 25% of your opponent's army to get your Winter Fury. He's making some headway. But he will not get it. So may see Max Force or Max Blast this turn. Let's see. A full Max Blast. It's Great Strike there. Good damage there. Tank strikes the anti-air, knocks it out, takes out the battlecopter. Of course, Winter Fury will easily stabilize this effect. Made great headway though. And Max is 105. Olaf still has 88 on the field. Granted, most of it is in this Neo tank, but Winter Fury's here, and it will rip apart Max's forces. According to this, he's at 82, but it's actually probably lower than that since it doesn't necessarily calculate it correctly all the time, especially during Fog of War at least. Now here comes a counterattack. It'll pick off some of these outlying forces. Neo tank strikes the regular tank. Still gonna have battlecopters here, but overall, Max is pretty much out of tanks in this region. I see an 8 health tank and a 7 health tank. He has good enough battlecopters, and Olaf is somewhat lacking anti-air, but he has another thing as well. His battlecopter is not gonna be moving on too greatly. They have half movement speed this turn. Bomber. Okay, there's a... I think... Oh, it looks like he saved us money this turn, assuming there's going to be Winter Fury, which he was. So we got now a Max Bomber for maximum firepower. Tank. Max also has 87,000 versus Olaf's 106, so it's not too far behind. Very little engagements this turn. Just trying to wait out the winter. The problem about waiting out the winters, spring muds are even worse when it comes to military warfare. No, seriously, it is actually harder to move forces around during the spring than it's winter because of mud. Because at least the ground is firm during winter. Got 2 Neo tanks brought up by Olaf versus 1 bomber. We do have, of course, 2 anti-airs on the field for Olaf. 1 5 health, 1's full health. The 5 health's on top of his property. Does get spotted there. Maybe try to knock it out somehow. Wouldn't be half bad. How much would an 8 health battlecopter do to a 5 health anti-air on top of the city? Not a great amount. It will effectively stop its repairs. Tank infantry. Infantry, tank, infantry, battlecopter. Good strike there. Tank, tank, infantry. Both sides are just rotating around. And both sides of value is quite similar. Olaf does have one property advantage. This is the key difference property. Olaf taking small engagements, but does not knock out this recon, which means providing maximum reconnaissance for Max. Infantry. Tank, tank. We could possibly see a Max Forces turn. Bombers in range of some Neo tanks, just needs an opening. Stops a capture there. Bomber strikes the Neo tank. That gives his Max Force and then some. Looks like I'm basically no Max Force's turn. Has to get a screen around the bomber. Preferably not a screen of battlecopters. But I think this bomber will be struck really hard next turn because regardless what he puts here, if it's a ground unit, it'll be nuked by a Neo tank. If it's a battlecopter, it'll be taking out 7 health anti-air, then the follow-up anti-air will strike the bomber. But the bomber did one-shot the Neo tank, so it has paid for itself. It looks like he'll not take an even try even to protect that bomber. We will see a Max Blast next turn, right? But would it be a Max Force or Max Blast? We have another Neo tank deployed out by Olaf, infantry. Max turn, 82,000 field versus Olaf's 140, so it looks like it's particularly going quite well for Olaf. Does use a full Max Blast. Let's see if he can stabilize the game. Battlecopter strikes the Neo tank. Battlecopter strikes the Neo tank. Winter Fury is now available. Just probably going to not deploy out much this turn. Probably just go for infantry units. I wonder. Stealths are available. How powerful is a max stealth? Or maximum stealth? Gun down some of these units. Because he deploys out minimal this turn, he deploys at minimal this turn, has 20,000. He will have 40,000 bar repairs next turn. And there's the Winter Fury again. So Max's battlecopters will have a hard time escaping. Olaf starts to turn at 82,000. Max doesn't have too much right now, 63. So both sides taking quite a bit of a beating. That was a pretty good attack by Max. Greatly evened out the map. Because Olaf went from like 140 down to 80, I think it was. 80-year. And a lot of Olaf's units are locked up into single high-valued units. Max has 27 units on the field, has 39,000 on the field, or in funds. I think he should go for a stealth or a bomber. One of the two. Battlecopter. Tank. 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 So it doesn't do a full spend. And overall, Max just pulling back a little bit there. Sort of ran out of steam. This is when he didn't have any reinforcements last turn. Going for a whole bunch of lighter units, probably a good idea. Swarm's one of sheer numbers. After all, Olaf is going for a smaller core, heavier units, because Max's 28 units in the field versus just 19. Numbers are important. Gives you a lot more mobility, so able to hit a lot of units at once. Tank, infantry, battlecopter, anti-air. So he's going for a nice swarm of units, which is probably a better call. Olaf is trying to take the opportunity to grab this comm tower. It would not be successful, but it's actually a good effort. Built a battlecopter nearby. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. It is in range. Of course, taking out the T-copter requires the use of that same anti-air. If he interrupts, he could stop the interrupt any further with a battlecopter. So there's a possibility that Olaf could grab that comm tower. Definitely worth a shot. Olaf turns 134. Max has turned 100,000 for sales day to day, so he's still about a turn behind. Oh yeah, that just 2 and 3 units hit him, so he's done for. I've got that infantry can move fully through force. I'm an idiot. The copter easily goes on down. There's that unit there. Finish all some outlying units. Anti-air, infantry, tank. The nice thing about Max having so many units for Olaf means his blizzards will get a lot of damage done. And wounded units do still take the same amount of damage as well, so he can take more than 20% damage. Got another Neotank, infantry, so Olaf is just making a nice chain of Neotanks, though he's at 0 income, so no Neotank next turn. Unless he merges his 2 battlecopters together for some odd reason. Good double tap there on the Neotank. Olaf's turn. He can strike both his battlecopters from battlecopters. He also has an anti-air in the region as well. Going for infantry units. Why is he going for that? He is risking too much putting these battlecopters forward like that to be in anti-air range. And he's going for low target 2 infantry units. I am not sure what he's trying to do with these battlecopters. I think that's a horrible idea. Because now both these battlecopters will go down to anti-air. Yeah, that was a really bad play right there by Olaf. I'm not sure why he did that. Any other infantry nearby to capture properly, so. Tank for recon. Granted, he had no vision of those anti-airs, but you have to assume that your opponent has an anti-air in range to the battlecopter pretty much at all times. You must be willing to risk losing it by taking out a high value target. In this case, he attacked infantry, which is not high value. That was a horrible play. Max takes out those units. Anti-air 1 takes a battlecopter. Anti-air 2 takes a battlecopter. And now you take time to put his tanks into the Neotank. Almost knocks it out. Knocks it out. Yeah, that was a really bad move. He just lost everything there. Infantry. Tank does good strike there. Oh, there's the Winter Fury. Losing all those high-valued assets did give him Winter Fury, but it's better not to lose assets and get Winter Fury a little bit later. Max does have his Max Blast available now. Of course, it's slow going in the snow. Tank for recon. Olaf turns 128,000 versus Max's 87. He may just save his Max Blast from the next turn. His battlecopters has no mobility. He may not get power charge from these engagements, but at least his opponent doesn't get power charge either, so it's equal. Plus, he's fighting against +10 as well, so +10% defense. So his Max Blast would not have to worry about overcoming that. Property got captured. It looks like this property has been captured. Very nice. This property is still despicably neutral. It's a good headway. But if it pushes too far forward, the Max Blast counterattack will be quite significant. Let's see if we see Max Blast and Max Force. Pops the full Max Blast again. Gets a good strike there. Going for some deep strikes, puts him around some Neo Tanks. Max has been doing quite well with the Neo Tanks, but not even pulling out something as heavy as a medium tank. So he's doing quite well using his boosted battle copter straight to those Neo Tanks. So right now he gets what, plus 30% firepower for his direct units, plus 10% for the day-to-day, or from the activating power and super, plus 20% from the comm towers. So he has plus 6% firepower on his battle copters. Very nice. Tank, infantry. Olaf almost has enough for halfway there to Winter Fury. And Max ended the turn of 88,000, while Olaf starts turn 76. Both sides just still slugging it out. Gets some good strikes there, takes out a number of these outlying units. Here, battlecopter infantry. Getting some good strikes on these forces. Does get trapped there. And that infantry unit will not be shot up for its insolence. Battlecopter infantry. So Max has sort of 5,000 funds. Olaf has 25,000 funds, so maybe a Neo Tank, maybe a bomber. Current rate, probably a Neo Tank, since how many Neo Tanks deployed on the field. Does get trapped there with the 2 health tank. Those 1 health units are just being annoying, which is actually quite good for Max. Neo Tank, infantry. Winter Fury now available, but he's going to blunt the possible counter assault by Winter Fury by just hitting everything hard. Does get trapped there. Infantry again. And right now, Max has 76,000 field. Olaf has 74. It's amazing how many times these players have gone above 100 and well below it. It's been a slug match, that's for sure, but here comes another Winter Fury. Next one costs 113, the next Max Blast costs 86. It's hard and hard about these Winter Furies, but they're still oh so effective. Does get trapped again, but that's just a 3 health tank. Infantry, battlecopter, infantry, anti-air. Max last turn has holy 48. Of course, didn't spend anything last turn, so has 30,000 in the bank, and go for something valuable like a bomber or stealth or a Neo Tank. So he may decide for light tanks again. Volcan, battlecopter, tank. Infantry, not enough for another tank. So yep, not going for too greedy, going for heavy assets. He's been doing very well with these lighter tanks and battlecopters the entire game. And I'll say, it's very justified not teching up. He's been able to deal with Olaf's Neo Tanks very, very well. takes a shot against a battlecopter with the Neo tank. Olaf still has a 2000 income lead, which is quite nice. Battlecopter, tank, infantry. Good strike there on that tank. Tank, infantry. Do have a max force available. Maybe a max blast is going to be available relatively soon. All depends how much damage Olaf does to his opponent. There's just so many 1 health infantry ones. They're actually maybe at 1% health as well. But Olaf will have to go through them, and he has only 21 units versus 32, so it'll take a bit of time to chew through all of them. But these 1 health infantry units are still being very important. I'm sorry. This is probably my last replay for tonight as well, so you're going to have this replay for the rest of this map, or the rest of this night. Do you play this map quite often? I'm not sure if you play online or not. Meteor, battlecopter, infantry, and probably infantry. Yep. Does get trapped there. Spots the full health recon. Don't worry about it. There's always the YouTube uploads, and of course, you can always just start back from the beginning. Neo tanks are advancing. Good for them. Battlecopter infantry, tank infantry. Max force, max blast available. Looks like going to try to do a flip. Not sure how well Max can flip. Don't think muscles are great for trying to flip around, whether it be front flip or back flip. Does try to capture up this property now, still despicably neutral. Good shot there. This map is quite large, and honestly, I don't know how to explain it, but I just hate to design the map. I just don't like all the dead space here. I think it's a little bit too busy of all things, and it's not with properties or roads and all that sort. Somehow it's too busy with forests. I don't know how to describe it. It's also a scatter of missile platforms. I have no idea what the intent of all these missile platforms. Like, why are they even there at this point? There's gotta be some sort of precise balance reason why they're there. Other than that, I have no idea. Do you have another Max Blast available? Will we go for Max Force or Max Blast? Seeing the chain of other powers and superpowers, probably Max Blast. Got now another pair of Neotanks here. Of course, the 1 health tank is not much left there. It's even low in ammo, which is actually quite impressive. Neotanks have really high ammo count. Yeah, max out ammo is 9. 9 ammo, 99 fuel. Yeah, it has max ammo, max fuel. And somehow that one's down to 1 is low in health and ammo. So no max force nor max blast this turn. Tank, infantry, battlecopter. Good strike there. There's a good strike there. It looks like this property will be captured next turn. This property will get interrupted. So we've got 2 despicable neutral properties left on the map. Tank, infantry, battlecopter. Max force and max blast. This may be a good time for it. That's captured. Looks like neither, but then again, infantry don't get benefits from the direct fire benefits. Looks like he's not going for either. Managed to finish off the ATR. Rotating units around, trying to prep up to engage this Neotink with a max blast. Neotinks rotate around. Got a very good number of max battlecopters. 6 on the field? Yep, 6 in the field. Olaf only has 3 in return. We do now have 153 on the field versus 122. Takes off that battlecopter. Unit goes down, picks off some of these other outlying infantry units. ATR tank infantry. Good strike there, whatever that was. I hit next turn too quickly. Finish off that 1 health unit there. Infantry, just good strike there. Tank pushing along all around the flank. Looks like he maybe trying to do a assault towards the comm tower. Maybe trying to go for this property. Probably could try going for comm tower. Sneak infantry unit around the woods. Try to go around wide. Battlecopter, infantry, tank, infantry. Max Force, Max Blast, he may want to pop it before the Winter Fury comes. Let's see what he does. Looks like he may not be going for the Winter or the Max Blast or Max Force. Winter Fury could be popped next turn, depends how much damage Olaf gets done. Good strike there. And there's the Winter Fury there, so that will dull any sort of counterattack from Max with the snow. Not to mention all the wounded units. It looks like this probably trying to be flipped, but this tree should be able to interrupt it, as well as this infantry unit. Probably won't stop it. And even though this Neotink pushed forward quite a bit, these battlecopters have half move speed, so with a max blast, they only have 4 movement rather than 3, which is not too particularly great. Takes up the battlecopter there. Managed to get some strikes in some of these tanks with the battlecopters. So I'm pushing the center. Max is 104 versus 143. Battlecopter infantry, infantry, infantry. Oh man, being even with Olaf before the Winter Fury is never a good sign. Yep. Good strikes there. Capture progress has 10 remaining, so it's not going to be captured anytime soon. We may need to join capture. Neo tank infantry. Olaf, or Max turn. He's down by 65,000. Quite a bit. Now it's probably. There's the Max Blast. Let's see what he does. He has a bunch of wounded units. But a lot of units. Though the number count has largely been evened out. He's good damage there. Doesn't pick off some of these outlying units. Though some infantry units may pick those guys off. There's a good shot there. So does spot one of the Neo tanks. Getting some good hits there. Does struck the Neo tank with the battlecopter. It's going to scratch down, hits the tank there, charging way forward once again. Strikes that battlecopter there, takes it out one shot, even with that 8 health. Finish off some of these outlying units. Looks like this 1 health tank will escape. Maybe it's at 1% health. And instead of 107, Olaf's are serve 110, so it's back to day-to-day differences. But of course, Olaf's units are largely in range. Had spent quite a bit of repairs on this Neo tank, but he has 3 Neo tanks effectively in range of stuff. Or just make that 2. Strikes the battlecopter there, takes out the tank. Getting some good hits there. Finish off that tank or anti-air. Some of these battlecopters getting pretty low on fuel as well as health. Takes out that unit there. The funny thing as well, another Winter Fury is almost available. It's at 126 costs. Next max blast costs 97. And there's nothing much left nearby to take on these Neo tanks. He's been relying heavily on battlecopters for it. But these battlecopters are all pretty battered, bruised, and beaten. There's a full bomber to engage the Neo tanks. This may be more closer to Desperation Bomber. He does have 3,000 funds, so more infantry still available. Does get trapped there. 9 health on this infantry unit there, with 10 capture progress remaining, so will not capture that property next turn. And it's still got this city down in the middle in neutral. Olaf, his next Winter Fury is almost available. I don't think he can get a Winter Fury this turn. He has to get another 20,000 funds, which means 40,000 worth of damage. A little bit difficult, honestly. Max, if he possibly could, try focus on the anti-air, give his bomber more free range as well as all of his battlecopters. As Max is starting to fall back there, merge some of his units together. Anti-air tank. Infantry. Get some good hits here. Takes out that wounded battlecopter. Got triple Neo tank on the field. Olaf only has 19 units, make that 22 now. But 4 full health Neo tanks. Max still has 31 units of field, 100,000 field for its 152. Puts around that Neo tank. Softened up there to let the bomber take it out, but now Winter Fury is available. Which means the bomber's going to have trouble escaping away from anti-airs. Max Force, he is going to try to follow up with this. Try to use his opponent's effectiveness and do it after Winter Fury. This is maybe Desperation Max Force. Bomber has some escort, but the anti-air can range that bomber. Vision range would be another matter though. He's out of vision range, but here comes the Winter Fury. It'd be easy to spot it by just putting the infantry unit on top of the mountain. Probably something he should do either way. Gets a good boost, defensive strike there. Here's the bomber. It did pay for itself by knocking out a Neo tank. But right now, Max needs to do a bit more than pay for himself, because according to this, he has 49,000 for 105. What does Max even have left? There's just so many Olaf Neo tanks on the field. He only has infantry, 3 tanks, and anti-air. He did do a spending skip last turn. I'm going to just call it spending skip, so get another bomber out, but there's too many anti-airs. Maybe stealth. I don't know. Goes for Neotank for himself. Maybe a little bit too. I don't know. At this point in time, I have no idea what Max could do. I think the Winter Fury is just doing too much work against Max right now. Tank Recon. Max does enough for another Neotank. Will have to be a base skip though. Here, tank. Max is to play around with 1 Neotank versus 3. Granted, 1 is down to 7. And got a possible property flipped here, and I don't see a way for him interrupting it. And here, infantry battlecopter. The income distance is only small, but flipping one property will actually put a decent sized gap. Max trying to flip a property, just trying to lure something in. My voice is starting to dry out a little bit. Drinking fluids this entire stream, but I think it's not only it's getting a little bit late for me. My voice is starting to fail, so definitely my last game for tonight. After all this replay so far, I've been casting for 45 minutes, and it's also day 45. Make that day 46. Does stop the capture there, does get the flip there, so it's 21 versus 18, so 3,000 income difference, which will start adding up. Though Olaf's been having a slight income lead this entire game. Max's turn. Neotank's in range of Neotank, but of course he can use the Neotank to bait the Neotank. Usually that's a combination tactic for regular tanks, but in this case, Olaf can do it with Neotanks since he has sizable deployment lead. Though right now it's 170 versus 107. If you could try stopping the Neotank somehow, get 1 health with point damage, could be quite nice. Or he's just not going to do anything. This Neotank is on the force. I'm not sure if he spotted the Neotank. In here, tank. Infantry. Neotank strikes the regular tank on the despicable neutral property. Gets trapped there. That's actually a pretty nice trap for Max. But there's just a lot of assets over there. And of course I get a spam bot on kick. Yep, this one here is just meant for spotting since it does have 2 spotting range. So it is able to spot everything being spotted by the airport. Not necessarily for capturing, just for spotting. Though we do also have this one going down south, maybe trying to get an opportunity to go for the comp tower. Gets a good first strike there on that Neotank. At this point in time, Olaf may need to eye blizzards rather than trying to save Winter Fury if he wants to slow down his opponent. But now this Neotank can be struck by the Neotank. And we've also got the 7 health Neotank here as well. And this is the only thing that Max really has on the field, this single Neotank. And a lot of these tanks, of course, are quite nice, but kind of good number of Neotanks. Look at how many Olaf battlecopters there are now. I think Olaf will just win the game next turn. Not necessarily the game will end, but I think he will make the winning blow this turn. It's got Neotanks in range of the Neotank, got battlecopters in reserve, ready to strike here. Max does have currently 3 anti-airs here, which are all great here, which will retaliate upon the battlecopters, but don't think that will be enough. In which I really do believe a Blizzard is a good call right now. Give him +10/+10 and slow down his opponent entirely. He's going to soften up the Neotank a little bit more. Does not take it out. Will take it out. We may see a Max Force this turn. Maybe even Max... good chance for a Max Blast, actually. And he can dull his opponent by popping Blizzard, but he will not. I really do think people should eye Olaf's Blizzards more often in the late game, but he is actually pretty close to another Winter Fury. Don't get me wrong on that. Yeah, he will get Winter Fury next turn. He still has a full health Neotink and 7 health Neotink, and that's full health one. Max Blast. This is Desperation Max Blast. He already moved most of the units this turn. Just trying to do more damage. Just one last charge. It's good strike there. Winter Fury is now available. Infantry, infantry, infantry. Which means he's going to have delayed reinforcements. Here comes Winter Fury. Max at 70,000. What visible is shrunk down to 53,000. Which is mostly accurate since most of the stuff that's not in vision range is just infantry. He's going to spend a lot of reinforcement funds. Another Neotink pushed forward. Finish off a large amount of these outlying units there. You even take out 2 health infantry unit with a 1 health Neotank. Neotank infantry. Max's turn. He starts the turn for 40,000. He has a lot of stuff, a lot of money in the bank, but yes, 22,000 on the field. Oh boy! Even if he does a full deployment this turn of 40,000, he doesn't even get half his opponent's value in the field. Neotank, Battlecopter, Anti-Air. Yeah, Winter Fury is brutal. And this map is large, it's good for global damage. Not good. Max had to be a bit more aggressive, but I don't think it's a good map for Max versus Olaf. Because this is a large map good for global damage. Does get trapped with 1 health Battlecopter. Push way forward. Tank, 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 which is a good follow-up. He's going to try to close the game by having hyper-mobile, aggressive units. I would like to see Olaf just go for tanks and battle calls for the game, maybe a recon too. Does get a strike there on that Neotank, takes it out. Battlecopter up here. Of course, the Anti-Air is in range. Olaf's turn. Takes out that wounded tank. Anti-Air is finished off some infantry units there. Neotank strikes the Neotank directly, knocking out Max's primary unit on the field. Trying to even go with some property captures, and when Max starts losing more properties, it's going to be game over. Right now, Olaf has 22,000, captured that last despicable neutral property finally. And now it's Max's turn to turn around the game. He has 74,000 versus 169. Gets a good strike there on the Neotank, takes up the Battlecopter, puts around that Anti-Air. Neotank on Neotank, around the... And Max does go ahead and resign on day 52. This is great saying thank you for watching, and on to the next replay. As mentioned beforehand, that shall be my last replay for tonight, so